ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sky in case you're new here, but for today I'm like the period fairy. I'm going to be sharing a few tips and tricks, simple tips that have helped me manage my periods over the years, because let me tell you, I'm a heavy period babe, and if you're a heavy period babe, you know the struggle, you know that it gets real out here. But more than that, I'll be sharing a few sanitary pads that I've tried that I feel are the best for heavy periods. These are sanitary pads that are available here where I live in Lagos, Nigeria. Pads that I've tried over and over again, because I've tried quite a bunch of sanitary pads. So these ones that I'm showing you in this video are the ones that I've come to know are the best for heavy periods. Now let me say that I'm not a women's health professional. I'm not any kind of a health professional, so I will not be talking about things like medication or therapy or all that. So if you need advice or if you have concerns regarding your period, maybe talk to a professional like a doctor or a gynecologist or something. What I'm talking about in this video is purely tips and tricks that I use to manage my heavy periods, in case it helps somebody. Plus I'm talking about the sanitary pads, like I said. So the number one tip that I will share with you, and this is very important, I think this is the most important tip ever, and I start this before my period comes. So like a few days before my period, I take fluids. Like my fluid intake increases significantly before my period. The reason for this is that you want your body to be in the best possible condition ever. Like I'm a good water drinker on a good day, but during my periods I take extra care to take way more amount of water. However you prefer taking your water, but before your period, during your period, is not the time to skip water or healthy fluids. So things like water, the tea that I showed you at the beginning of this video. By the way, let me know what you think about that intro. I want to put a little bit more effort and storytelling in my videos, so let me know what you think about it. Anyway, during my periods I try not to take alcohol. Now alcohol is something that works as a blood thinner in many cases, so I advise that if you have heavy periods, please just stay away from the alcohol. If you can manage a few days before your periods, but during your periods, absolutely do not take alcohol, because all it will do for you is just make the blood even pump more and more and more. The second tip that's helped me a lot is exercise. I know I'm not a health nut, I'm not Team Fit Farm, but even if you're not a Fit Farm exercise gym person, the very best thing you can do for your body before your period and during your period is to exercise. Now I'm not talking about anything heavy or insane. A little stretching, a little yogaing, a little skipping, if you can manage, helps a lot. Another form of exercise that can help is stretches. Now people underestimate stretches a lot, but I've noticed that the more I stretch, like intense stretching where I know that all my muscles have been really pulled and toned, it helps a great deal. My belly and pelvic region, where I feel heaviness or cramps during my period, gets a little freer. So there's less cramping, there's less bloating. It just helps overall, right? You don't need to go ham, you don't need to run 100 kilometers. Just a little bit of jogging, a little bit of skipping, a little bit of ab exercises, and lots of stretching. That's what has helped me, and I think it's going to help you too. Just try it out and let me know how it works out for you. So the third tip is arguably the most important, even more than the fluids. It's knowing your body. Now this is not judgment to you, because none of us were born knowing these things, but I feel like if you're an adult and you're already getting your periods, I think that you should try to know your body, try and know your dates. If you have regular periods, it's even a little easier, because you can just track, use your calendar, use your phone, whatever you can use. There are lots of apps that you can use nowadays. I have tried the Flow app before. I'm going to leave a couple of apps that I think can help in the description bar, so please check it out. So apps like that help. Your calendar can help you keep track of your period days, your cycle days, so you know what is happening in your body at every time. Like I'm not 100% at this, but I'm at least 98-97%, and I believe that if you're an adult, you're an adult female, you are a menstruating person, you should absolutely get to know your body. This will help you a great deal. Let me know in the comment section if you want more tips on how to know your body better. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but I've picked up one or two things over the years, so I'm willing to share that with you in case you're interested. Let me know in the comment section. I also give the video a thumbs up. Okay, now let's talk about the sanitary pads. The first part that I'll be talking about is this one, the Always Cotton Soft Maxi Thick Pad. This Cotton Soft, let me tell you guys, when this particular variant of Always pad came out, I tried it and it was just a disaster. Apparently they have another variant that's for regular flow, but this one in particular is for heavy flow, which is why they wrote Maxi Thick. The next part I'm talking about is Moped. If you're in Nigeria, then you definitely know this brand. It's by some Turkish company, but they have a factory here in Nigeria, so this is their brand Moped. Again, they have other variants for other kind of regular or light flow, but this is the one that I specifically buy for my heavy flow. The third pad I'm talking about is this one. This is the Cortex Maxi Pad. Again, Cortex has other variants, but this is the one that is specific for heavy flow that I have used. This brand, I'm talking about this brand for a bit. This is one of the most annoying brands ever. Like, I tried this pad once and I love this so much, but it's hardly ever available. I'm putting it in this video just in case you live where you're able to get it, but where I live in particular, it's so scarce. I have to get it from ShopRite. I think ShopRite is the only place where I'm able to see this pad consistently, right? But it's one of my favorites, so this is the one we're talking about in this video. The fourth is a new one for me. This is the Vironi pad. This is what it looks like. Yeah, it's a very unique packaging. I'll talk more about this pad because it's a very interesting brand, you guys. The next pad I'll be talking about is the Lady Care pad. I'm sorry that's already open, but I'll be talking about this pad also. It's a Nigerian local brand, but very popular, so I'm talking about that too. An honorable mention, even though this pad is my least favorite, is the Always Ultra Thin, the one everybody knows, this one. And that's because it's just too thin. I know the entire point of this particular variant is that it's super thin. I mean, thin pads are great in theory, but for a heavy flow babe, thin pads don't do so much because you need something that has a little bit of bulk and volume to give you protection and support. Not only because, you know, my flow is heavy, I'm also like a curvy person, so my bum bum is big. I need something that's a little bit more substantial, and this pad is not it. Let me just open it so you can see, in case you haven't seen. I think everybody knows this pad. It's like the single most popular sanitary pad here in Lagos, Nigeria. So when you tear it open, this is what it looks like. It's long enough, to be fair. It's pretty long enough, so it kind of, I guess, give you some length, but you know, length is not what we're looking at. If you're heavy flow baby, you want some sort of support. This is what it looks like. Very thin. It's super thin, you guys. Like, whenever I wear it, I have it folds into my underwear. It doesn't give me support. I mean, I can manage it on my first and last days, but to be honest, it's not the best sanitary pad for heavy flow. And now for the Lady Care. When you open it, it's like this simple green sachet. I don't mind the packaging, really. It's just neat and simple. And then when you open it, you have this is what it looks like. It's decent size, I guess. I like that it's thick. I love that it's thick. This is a very affordable pad, you guys. It's some 350 naira or thereabouts, so it's not expensive at all. And as you can see, the thickness is really decent. For comparison, it's not as long as the Always Ultra Thin. The Always is slightly longer than it. This is what the length difference is, but it's way thicker. It's way thicker, so it's a better pad compared to the Always. So this is one option for you in case you have heavy flow. Next is the Cortex. Let's open it and see. As I was saying, this brand is so scarce, you guys. It's not very cheap either. It's almost 500 naira, I think, 450 thereabouts. It's about 100 naira above the Lady Care, which I don't mind really because the pad is really good. I tried it once and I fell in love. I think they have a heavier presence in Kenya and some other countries, but for here in Nigeria, I don't know what they're doing. And I really hate it when brands are here but they're not really here, because this brand is so scarce, this Cortex brand. Anyway, when you open it, what you get is this. So it's in a basic white cotton-like sachet. I really like how it looks. I don't know why it's not focusing. Okay, yeah, here we go. So this is what it looks like inside. It's super thick and neat and cute. So this is what it looks like on the inside. As you can see, it's long enough. Again, let me just compare with the last one, which is the Lady Care. It's the exact same length as the Lady Care pad. Exact same length. They're very similar in thickness, but in my experience, the Cortex is slightly thicker. Definitely performs better when it gets full. So this is a slightly better pad than the Lady Care. And now for the Moped, when you open it, it's like this, very similar to the Cortex, simple cotton-like type of packaging. Now let's open This pad is super special, you guys, because it's thick but also very very long, which I really like. This is what it looks like. Super long, and this is what the thickness is like. It's not as thick as the Cortex, but it's absolutely longer than it. The Cortex is in front, the moped is behind. The moped is absolutely longer than it, and even though it's not as thick as the Cortex, it kind of holds its own when it gets wet or full. Doesn't leak or anything. I really love this pad. Next is the Always Cotton Soft. So keeping it on brand, the packaging is this pink nylon type material, and when you open it, it's like this, separate. So this pad might seem not so impressive. It's definitely not as big as the moped or even the Cortex. It's not as big. It's a way smaller pad, but it performs so well, you guys. Yeah, but this is the only Always I advise you to get if you are someone who has heavy flow. The other kind of Always are not for you. It would be a waste of your money. I've tried so many of them. This is the one that I feel kind of works if you have heavy flow. Now, comparing to the Cortex, as you can see, it's not as thick. This is the Always up, this is the Cortex down. The Cortex is way thicker, same as the moped, but it's the same length as the Cortex. Same length, different thickness, but it performs excellently well for heavy flow. And last but definitely not least is this Vironi pad. Now, this is a new brand for me. I've been seeing this brand all over in the markets, everywhere, social media, but I just didn't pay attention until the recent, like late last year. I just let me try it because this is a very interesting looking pad. I don't think I've bought any other pad that has this kind of packaging. It comes in this purse, this kind of rubber purse, and why it's unique is that it has a lot of product inside. It costs about 800 naira, 900 naira, depending on where you're buying from, but inside you have 30 sanitary pads inside. This one wants to have 7 or 8 depending on the brand, but this actually has 30 for 800 naira. Such a steal. And then when you open it, you guys, you're going to find 3 different pad sizes. Now, why this is genius is that I don't know about you, but for me, my day one and my last days are usually a little bit on the light side, so I don't really require, you know, the full-on sanitary pad support. So this Vironi, what they've done is inside you find one regular size pad. It has this pink tab. Now, someone who has light flow or regular flow can just use this pad and you'll be fine. They put 18 of that regular one inside, and then they've put 7 of this big one. Now, this is supposed to be for heavier flow babes like me, or if you have regular flow and then you have days in between when you have really you know, heavy running periods. This is perfect. So they've put 7 of this big size inside, 18 of this medium size, and then they've done something really genius, which is to put 5 panty liners, small panty liners like this. They've put 5 pieces inside. So all these 3 sizes is what you're going to find inside this purse, and all for 800 naira. This is super genius. I have background in marketing and sales, so I really appreciate it when brands take a little step to do something innovative, something that differentiates them in the market, and Vironi has done exceptionally well with packaging. Also, the purse that they've put the part in, the purse is really strong, so I'll definitely use it for other things. And you know me, I'm minimalist, so anything that is reusable, sustainable, eco-friendly, I'm on it. Now, for fair comparison, I'll be talking about just the big size, which is this one that has the blue tab. I'll be comparing it with the other parts just so you can see. Now, when you open it, you see that the pad is reasonably thick. It's not the thickest, but it's quite thick, and it's super long. So this is the Vironi, and this is the this is the Vironi up, and this is the moped down. It kind of matches in terms of thickness and performance too, so I don't get leakage. It gives me protection. I can wear it all night without having to change in the middle of the night. So thickness wise, it does well. Length wise, let's compare and see. It's the exact same length as the moped, so it's a cheaper alternative, but it matches the moped in terms of thickness as well as length, which is very quickly. Now let me just pour some dyed liquid on each of these pads side by side and show you how they do in terms of absorption, because that's very important. If you're a heavy flow babe, you know how it is. Like, you can change your pad 4-5 times a day, so it kind of adds up. So any pad that doesn't give me good absorption, good support, comfortability, doesn't lay on my underwear properly, I'm not about that life. So all these pads that I've shown you here, these are the best performing pads as far as these parameters go. So I'll just show you side by side how they perform when they are wet, and then we'll come back and wrap up this video. Absorption wise, you can see that they all did decently well, and it's hard for me to choose a favorite really, because I love all of these pads. But if I was to say my top two sanitary pads for heavy flow, I'm going to say the Veroni for sure. I've explained why: the packaging, what they have inside, the value for money, sustainability, all of that. This is a very, very great option for you. If you've not tried Veroni, absolutely go and buy one today. I promise you, you will not regret it. So this is one of my top 2 favorites. And then joining it is the Moped. I would have said the Cortex, because the Cortex is really, really thick and soft, and you know, it feels really good on the skin. Let me just show you what their weaving looks like. So it's really, really soft and feels very comfortable, but the Moped edges it out a little bit when it comes to length, which is why I am choosing the Moped over it. Also, like I said, the Cortex is not readily available to buy, and I really don't like it when brands are not available like at arm's reach for me. So my 2 favorites will be the Veroni and the Moped. Yeah, these two, they're my favorite pads for heavy flow as far as I'm concerned. These are the 2 pads that perform the best and give me the best support, absorption, length, everything that I need in a sanitary pad. As a heavy flow babe, these 2 pads are it for me. Okay, that's the video, you guys. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. If you've tried these brands that I mentioned here, let me know what your experience was or is with them. If you have other suggestions, other brand sanitary pads that you want me to possibly try, please don't mention menstrual cups or tampons. I've tried those and they're not for me, which is why I've stuck with sanitary pads. So if you have other pad suggestions that you know I can get from here in Nigeria, let me know in the comment section. But it has to be pads that work for heavy flow babes like me. Okay, give this video a thumbs up, watch my other videos, support my channel, and subscribe in case you haven't. Okay, I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.